Hi fam, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. So today on this channel we're going to be decorating this pretty bag cake from start to finish. So hang on while we get right into it. The first thing I want to do is to level up each layer of my cake. Yes, I want to level up properly each layer of my cake before I start stacking them together and then cutting out the size of the bag and also the shape of the bag. And that's a 10 inches square cake, by the way. So I'm done leveling up all the layers of the cake, and now it's time to measure the size of the bag I need and then stack the cakes in that size and trim them out. So that's what I'm doing now. I just measure the size of the cake. By the way, this can be in any size of your choice, so it doesn't have to be this exact size. I mean, I'm even still going to increase this size actually. So but this is what I'm doing first, and like I said, it can be in any size of your choice. It can even be smaller than this, just the way you want it to be. So I'm sandwiching all the sizes I already cut out now. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that the bag can be in any size you want, and I also mentioned earlier that I was working with a 10 inches cake. Now this cake we're supposed to bake a 12 inches square cake for it, but we baked a 10 inches cake, and of course we can't waste a 10 inches cake. So I still worked with a 10 inches cake, but I'm increasing the size now because I need the width more than 10 inches. I need the width more than 10 inches. So that's why I'm adding some more layers to it. So if you want to do yours, obviously you can bake the exact size you need. You can just bake the exact. I already baked the size before I concluded that I needed it to be bigger than this. So that's why I'm adding that part to it. Just like you can, just as you can say, I mean, just add it properly. Make sure it sticks properly and it's still as fine as being a whole bag. So after getting the exact size I need now I have the exact size of bag I need. So I'm trimming off the sides. I already did that. Trimmed off all the size of all the size of the cake, like you would normally trim out your regular cake. So when you do that, then that's when we can now start trimming out the shape of the bag, which is what I'm doing now, and I'm doing that gradually. I mean, I don't want to cut off a lot of chunk from my cake at once and then I'll find out it's smaller. So just do that gradually. Just know the shape of the bag you want to do, then start trimming it out gradually. So I'm making the curvy part of the top of the bag the type of bag I want to make. So this trimming basically is what you have to go over and over and over and over until you are satisfied with what you have. I mean, until you get the perfect or very close to perfect size you need. So just keep going over and over and over and over. I mean, you can go as many times as you want until you get your perfection. Now I think I'm good. I'm good with the sides I'm trimming now. So I want to bring out the dent from the side of the bag according to the design I'm working on. Yes, some bags, when you even when you open them, it has a little dent by the side. So that's what I'm trying to bring out now. So I'm just trimming in the cake like a V, like a very long V. That's how I'm getting that shape. I'm making sure that I'm also making sure that it's in the middle, so it's well positioned. And then I'm going back to the formal side I already trimmed, trying to adjust it further. So I'm done with the trimming of my bag now. I think I'm satisfied with what I have right now, and then we'll go into covering of the cake. Okay, so this is a black bag, of course, like you can see from the beginning of the video. So I'm using a black fondant that I already pre-mixed. So I am rolling into the size and the shape that I need. You can, if you notice, you see that this is more like a rectangle rolling because I know the bag is long. So I want to roll to that shape and measure. Okay, so covering it now, covering this bag basically, you have to measure. You need precision, even though you still had a little to what you have precisely, but you need a little precision. Now I measured the sides of the bag. Whatever, I am not going to be mentioning how much the exact number or the exact inches I'm getting, because I mean you can want to do yours a bigger size or a smaller size, so I don't want to confuse you. Just measure the size, whatever it is that your cake that you're working with gives you. Measure it and just add a little, just a little inches to it, so that you can cut out neatly from it as well. So when you want to cover, make sure you go right into that dent you created first, and then trying to smoothen off the sides properly and cut out the excess from the top neatly as well. Okay, so that's the excess from the side that I'm cutting off. And I'm going to cut out the excess from the other side as well. Smoothing it out properly so it blends properly with the cake. And I'm just going to repeat that for the other side too. Okay, so I'm moving to the side of the cake now, which is the wider part of the cake. And as needed, I need to put buttercream first before the fondant. So this buttercream is what is taking the fondant to the cake. So I also want to measure the exact size of the side of the cake. Yes, the size and also the height of the cake. That's what we need to get. You need to get the height of the cake as well and the side of the cake. And then put little water at that place. You know, we already have fondant extension here now, so you need water on that fondant extension so it sticks this new fondant you're adding to the one already there, so everything just blends properly together. So for this covering now, we want to cover half part of the cake. That's one side, and also for the top of the cake, we're covering it halfway. We're covering the side of the cake halfway as well because we need the other half to also go halfway and then form a middle part, which you might want to put zip or something like that if need be. For some bags, you don't even need to do that. So I'm cutting out the excess on the sides of the cake neatly as well, please, with a very clean knife. You need to do this neatly and with a clean knife. You don't want to use a knife that has stains or anything like that on it. No, you don't want to do that. And you want to make sure that you're placing your knife straight. So I'm about to cover the second side of the cake now, and I'm also adding water. Please don't forget, you need to add water to that fondant part because that's what will stick this coming fondant to the already placed fondant there. You want to smoothen out as neat as possible, as much as possible as well, till you get your desired results. And then you cut out the excess so that you have that middle joining, and you stick together with water. Okay, so I'm done with the first stage of decorating this cake, which is the covering. Yes, we are done with the covering. We have it all nicely covered now, and we are going to move to the next stage, which is the body work. And please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. Now, I'm using a tracing wheel. Yes, what I'm using now is called a tracing wheel. I mean, you can get it anywhere. I'm sure that you might even have one of these in your bakery. So gently, I want to use a tracing wheel to trace out my design on the cake almost immediately after covering. Please, we want to do this almost immediately after you cover. You don't want to wait for your cake to dry. If it dries, this pattern would definitely not show this much. You won't see your imprint this much. So I do this freehand. For me, I do it freehand. If you can't achieve it freehand, you can also try to use maybe a ruler or something, but I do a lot of my decorations freehand. So after going the first line, you can see I'm making the second line. So you want to start the second line from the beginning of all of the first line you have. If you look closely, you see that that's what I'm doing. There are some parts that won't meet up to that, yes, but most of the parts will meet up to that so that you can have something equal. I hope you understand that. And that's what I'm doing on the other side. So get the first line first, like that. And then for the second line, you want to go from the beginning of the first line. If you look closely, you'll see that that's what I'm doing. And then I go all the way down from the edges of each of the first line. And I'm repeating that for each of the two sides as well. Okay, so after that now I need to do, this bag doesn't have zip, it has a flip cover. So if it was a bag that has zip, that middle part that I joined, I was telling you the other time, oh, you would have used a zip mode or something to put a zip there, or you can do your zip freehand as well, but that's not what we're doing now. This bag has a flip cover, so I want to measure from the flip cover is like half of the bag, from the back to the front is like half of the bag. So I need to measure the exact size I need, which was what I did then, and then measure out the fondant as well to be like the exact size of what I need. So I'm applying water on the measured part so it can bring out, so I can put the fondant and it will stick properly. Please, when you're adding water as well, you want to make sure you add water as light as possible. Please, you don't want to put too much water. And you attach the cover just like what I'm doing now. So I'm using that ruler to make it to get a more balanced edge. I mean, I need that part to be straight, like straight, really straight enough. So I just use the ruler to balance that up, and I'm cutting out the excess because a lot of times you would always have excess anyway. Okay, so I want to continue the tracing on the cover as well because it has to sink into each other. So I'm starting, if you look closely, I'm starting each of that from, I'm just, is like a continuation of what I have done already. I mean, I'm sure that you can see that it's like a continuation of where I stopped. I'm just making it go like that. I'm extending it to the back, and then I'm coming all the way. If you look at it, it will still meet at the same point. So it's like an extension of what I have done before. I'm just trying to link it together. And whoop, we're done with that part. Now I want to make the handle of the bag, and I have this mold that you can use to make this easier anyway. I mean, this mold just makes it easier. Just try to, you put your mold, you have some shortening in your mold so that your fondant is not sticking, so your fondant is not sticking to the mold, and you press it in gently, press out the shapes, make sure you press out the shapes properly, and you remove, and you have that. So you make as many as possible that you need for your bag. So I have made, I mean, like enough that I need for this bag now. And I'm going to attach properly and carefully because I want to make sure that this is like in the middle, the proper way, the proper place that it's supposed to be. So I don't want it looking bent or something like that. So you want to make sure that you check where you want to put this properly before you attach it to your cake. So I decided to start from the base all the way to the top. Then of course the mold will not be as long as what you need, especially if you're making a bag that is a bit wide. But you want to join it carefully such that nobody is even going to notice the joining. I mean, you want to really, really be careful with your joining. We don't want anyone to notice it at all. We just want it to sink together and look like it was made all together. So I'll adjust the sides of the cake as needed, just until I'm sure that I have something like I really like. So it's a two chain. The chain is double. I mean, just like you carry your bag and then it has one chain on one part and another chain on the other part. So I'm making the second chain now. Please, like I said earlier, do not put too much water on your fondant because if you do, when you need to adjust like you can see me doing, it won't be easy. It will be so stuck to the cake that removing it is going to be a big problem, and a lot of times you might need to. Another disadvantage of adding too much water is it might start dripping. Once the water is too much, it might start dripping on your fondant, your already worked fondant, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm making the small, most of the bags you see, even when they have a chain, they have like a small circle in which it looks like the circle is what is guiding the chain. So that's what I'm making. I just made a little sausage with the black fondant and I'm wrapping it around there. So I'm done with that part. I'm sorry, I actually forgot to film the part where I was painting this chain. So I'm just putting this small one just to show you how I painted it. So that's why I'm attaching that small part to that part. So just watch how I painted it. Yes, so you just look for a very good brush. Yes, a very good brush with a sturdy mouth so that your painting is not splashing everywhere. So make sure it's important that you use a very good brush with smooth brush edges. So that's how I painted all of it. I mean, you can see that it's really simple, but you really need to be careful because if you're not careful, you're going to mess up your cake itself. So you want to do that. I mean, some people paint before attaching, but I always prefer to attach before painting because when you paint before you attach, sometimes, a lot of times, not even sometimes, when you attach, you will still touch that part that you have painted and it won't be looking so bright. So I don't like that. So I like to paint anything after attaching. Even if I paint before attaching, even after attaching, I will still repaint some parts. So why not just paint after attaching? So we're making a Chanel bag. So that's the Chanel logo that I'm putting. I just did that from a mold. There's a Chanel mold bag. You can do this freehand even, but I used a Chanel mold to bring that out. And I'm just adorning the cake more with flowers. I mean, I just want it to look prettier, and I'm just doing that. That's a butterfly. I'm putting artificial butterfly. I'm putting at the tip of the bag. So we're basically done with this bag. We are just basically done. The other things are just writing the message and doing all that. I am very, very, very sure that you have learned a thing from this tutorial. Please, if you have learned a thing or two from this tutorial, do not forget to comment, like, and share our post. And also do not forget to subscribe to this channel to see more helpful videos like this. Yes, please subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more helpful videos on cake tutorials like this. And do not forget, it's a cake tutorial and lifestyle channel. Subscribe, 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 subscribe. Tell your friends about our channel. Tell them to subscribe as well. So that's me just writing the message for the cake. And yippee, I'm all done. Hi! Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sure that you have learned a thing or two from this video. Sorry, if you have learned a thing or two from this video, don't forget to hit the like button below and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can always get new videos like this from us. Of course, turn on your notification button so that you can get a notification once we drop a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget again to subscribe, like, and comment on all our posts. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sticking through. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know that you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. So I'm just showing off all parts of the bag so you can see how pretty it looks. Peace out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for always supporting this channel. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our YouTube.